Good morning, moms out there, or I hope your moms, I don't know. Just talking to mainly moms. It's a beautiful morning here in Japan, down south on a different island and in the mountain countryside. Today I wanted to, you guys want to see the sleeping beauties today? Here's my little guy. Okay, he's asleep, and here's my cute little princess. She's also asleep. It's a bit chilly. Maybe if you're just sitting in the stroller, but because I'm moving, it's hot for me. And I just went uphill, so I'm going down now on the side of a road. So that's why I'm a little bit out of breath. But so yesterday I was talking about being pregnant with them, and I'm not even telling you 100th part of what it has been to be pregnant in a different country with twins and having 3 other kids that you already raised here. And I'm one of those people that I'm not saying I'm rebellious. Maybe I am a little bit, but I don't know. I'm probably a rebel, but the point is, being in a country where everybody's so easily submissive, bowing heads and creating this atmosphere of obeying like sheepishly. I'm using that word. I'm not using that word. I don't like that word. I read about it before. Somebody nasty was trying to tell me that I am about Star Wars in a Facebook page that I was following, because I like Star Wars. Or at least I used to. Now I'm like, whatever. But yeah, that guy was using the word sheeple instead of people. I don't say Japanese people are like that, because they have a lot of integrity, a lot of humility, and a lot of hardworking heart. But there's good and bad in every country. But I'm not like that, and I do not like certain ways. So when they tell me in the hospital, for example, that with my first one, oh my gosh, when they told me that I was way overweight, like before I was even pregnant ever, I was 56 kilos. I don't know what's that in pounds, but in kilos, it's like, I was like tiny and thin and just, I love and miss that body, but I can't do much about it. With my first pregnancy, he was a big boy, and he made me, I was like, 83 kilos? Like, that's like what? Almost double? No, almost double. 30 kilos plus over with the baby and the placenta and everything. So at some point they asked me if I was eating cake, chocolate cake with cream on it every day. So of course I laughed back then, but then I realized, wow, they're really rude. I mean, they don't realize that your body's different. And I tell all my friends who are foreigners here getting pregnant, please do not ever let them make you feel like you are super obese and fat and overweight and you're not gonna make it, and you're making your pregnancy complicated and your delivery will be complicated because you're so fat. No, you're not. I mean, of course, if you're not really eating cake every day, but my point is, we have different body from Asian body, I suppose. Here, not many clothes really fit me. Sleeves and the pants down are really short. I guess I have longer limbs. I don't know. But even the hip, the ladies are different here from what we are. And so it's really hard for me to find clothes, let alone shoes, because I have really big feet and wide. So in American size, I'm 8.5 wide. So here, the shoe for a lady's acceptable size is 25, 26 centimeters. That's like tiny. And so I have to go to the sports shops and get shoes that are unisex or like men's shoes. Like that's what I do. So I don't really mind as long as my feet are comfortable, as you can see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. Anyways, back to being pregnant with those babies and how they developed. I remember experiencing, what was it called? Pregnancy diabetes. I had that. Apparently, they checked. They gave me some kind of nasty juice, and then took my blood, and I was not supposed to drink or eat anything. I don't even know how I did that because I was always hungry with them, but I did it, I guess. And then they did the test, and they were like, "Yeah, no sugar for you." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, I live on chocolate, you know?" And they're like, "No, for the sake of the babies." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do anything for the sake of the baby." So for 1 week, guys, for 1 week, 7 days from that appointment to the next one, I did not even eat carrots because they have sugar, you know, carrot cakes and stuff. Yeah, I didn't eat bananas or apples, anything. And at that week, it was so tempting. Everybody was offering me, from Haribo gummy bears to anything else like you can think of. And I was like, "Yep, I'll pass on that. Yep, I'll pass on that." Just rub my tummy, hug my tummy as much as I can. I'm like, "That's for you guys." That was the hardest week of my life. No, not really. But I did it. It was clear the next week and the results were good. So they were like, "You're good." Yeah. They, the first month after delivery, we had a check. My baby girl had her belly button really sticking out. So apparently there's a hole inside that didn't close. So what they suggested me to do is, there's like this square spongy cube that you have to stick inside, but like you have to fill with. They gave me a paper with instructions how to do it. There's like this thing. You need 2 people. They say you have to have 2 people to do that. I'm like, okay. So you have to go get this really, from the drugstore, have to get this really strong tape, but it's also very thin, and I don't know how many meters that is, but it's like a tape. So you take that, and they gave me like 4 little sponges cubes, and they're like, you go with your finger in there, push it down, and feel where the hole is, and then you stick the sponge cube there and the belly button inside, and so make sure that it touches the hole. And then the other person that is next to you, while you're pressing the sponge down, it has to help and just tape it over. But it has to be really fast, and it has to be really precise. It has to be very perfect. So I was doing that for like maybe a month, and I would change it every 2-3 days. Sometimes if it gets wet, somehow it leaks air inside, have to change it so the sponge is not wet inside from bath water. So I did that. But then I realized her skin around the belly button was whiter, and like, because there's no air touching it, it was like really getting red, and I don't know, I didn't like it. So they gave me some kind of ointment to apply on it, but it wasn't getting any better. I didn't see any results, and I stopped. And then we were supposed to get her to be checked and see what, but we didn't go. So because I was really worried about corona too, and honestly she wouldn't die because of that. And I talked to relatives back home in Bulgaria, like medical doctors, and my auntie, she told me she should be okay. It's a procedure that maybe when she's older they can do for her. And so that's that. My little guy was born very yellow. He became very yellow, and he had to be checked too as well. Like 2 weeks after birth, we had to go back, and he did not have to go to this incubator thingy where there's blue light. He didn't have to do that, so that's good. But he was very yellow, like she was pale white, and he was so yellow orange, like he looked like an orange, and he was so cute. But then he started clearing up. It took a while, but I was breastfeeding him all the time, and he turned slowly white. Now he's the whiter one than her. She's the more mate, and he's more pale. But his skin is very sensitive too on the sun. Like the sunshine touches it, he becomes red spots and have to use lotions and stuff. But with the teeth, the first down teeth come, right? So my baby girl had her first coming out. They almost broke the same time, but hers somehow came faster. And the first, the second, so she could bite better food. And I started feeding him at 16 weeks because it was impossible to catch up with formula in my milk anymore, and it was pretty pricey too. So I didn't give them much. It was like very bland, like rice and vegetables blended, but it was good. It worked. And they got into a routine that they eat morning and lunch and dinner, and later on I started giving them a snack in between, and so they got really good at it. They have like certain time where they go poo poo, and I kind of like learn certain times of the day to change their diaper. So I mean, of course there is always some kind of accident here and there, but like in general they stick to the routine, and it's pretty amazing to me. But there is so much more intelligence in my girl, because she I can feel she looks at me and she knows if it's okay to do this or not, while my little boy, he's like, he just looks at me with those puppy eyes, and he's so cute. I cannot yell at him even. I mean, I don't yell at them, but like when I raise my voice and say, no, you can't do this, he still does it. Or like he reacts when he's saying, ah. So my girl, she's smarter, and she started recently like giving me a toy, and I would give it back to her, and I'll ask for it. I'm like, can I have it please? And she gives it to me, but then she knows I'll give it back to her, so she expects it. And so we started playing this. She's very playful. And my little guy started he started after her. And the teeth, she has her both upper teeth out now. He doesn't have it. But my mom is a dentist, so she told me never compare to kids ever with teeth, because that's very individual. Everybody's different. Do not even bother. Everything is gonna be okay. Don't compare them. So she even told me that before with the other kids, so that's great. Yeah, they look for each other. They are siblings in crime, always like looking for things together. Always when it's quiet, I go check on them, and he is okay with whatever I put on him. She doesn't like socks. She just takes them off right away, because those floors in our house are wooden, and it gets cold in the fall and the winter is super cold in those floors, so you have to have socks and home shoes or slippers. But she doesn't like kids here. They don't. I realized that, because even in the nursery school that my 3 other boys grew up in, after I brought them there at the age of 2, they were just like that, with bare feet. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. And so I didn't like it, and I told them that my boys will have socks. But they were like, well, the socks will get wet, and when they're wet, we cannot check everybody every time all the time, and it's not good to be with wet socks. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get them some kind of indoor shoes that is protecting their socks. And they were like, well, we can't do that, because they step on each other, and if it's like some kind of hard shoe on the bottom, it's gonna hurt another kid if they step on the other kid, even without knowing or unintentionally. So that's that. So I was like, sock it is. It's gonna be socks. So I told them, when your socks are wet, you change them. Do not stay without socks. Yeah, they did that for a while, and then when they grew up, almost towards the end of the nursery school, they were like putting their socks only when they're gonna put their shoes to go home. So that's it. They don't die, they just survive it. It's fine. There's no warm floors, no heating under the floor, nothing. It's just like that. But it is what it is. There are so many things I had to fight about and didn't like and did not accept as raising kids here, but can't do much, can I? So with those two, if I keep being here, they'll probably enroll in that same nursery school at the age of 2. At least they'll be together, and we'll look for each other, I hope. My baby girl looks like she's gonna be the caregiver, and then her little brother will follow so he doesn't get in trouble. But yeah, he's much taller than her. She's smaller and tiny, like tiny bone, and he's like this chunky, heavy boned boy, and just really cute and soft, and just I love them. I just squish them and kiss them all the time. To some point they just try to push me away, like run away. I'm like, I'm gonna get you, and I smooch them and I squish them, and we do lots of things together. Now that I'm at home, I can do it. When they're still small, I can do it. They grow really fast though. They're almost 10 months old now, next week, and I can't believe, some people were telling me before they were born, the first 3 months you don't remember anything because it's just too hard. And I disagree with that. I was prepared mentally for what they were telling me, because it was not just one person. Many people told me that. I guess Japanese ladies are like that. I do remember a lot. I just don't remember the time. The time was day, night. I didn't know that. But I remember the first month was the hardest. And then I started to get them into routine. And because it was really cold and winter, January, some days were just as dark as the night, so the lights were always on, and they couldn't sleep on dark very much. They like light, but at night they know the lights have to be dimmed. So they learned very quick that, and I use this app on my phone with lullabies. When they hear the lullabies every night, they know it's time to sleep. So my girl, she has this really cute habit to grab something like soft blanket, like something fluffy, and she has this little towel that has a rabbit holding it. It's really cute. So without those, she cannot really fall asleep. She has to squish her, like just puts that in her face, literally, and then she holds it, and it falls asleep like that. I don't know, just clicking her tongue, just like she's drinking milk. But she stopped drinking my milk like first, and then he followed afterwards. But it was really interesting to see how great it happened gradually. And I think it was 9 months. Yeah, it was like a few weeks back. They stopped. So I was happy to get my body back to myself, but also kind of sad a little bit because we had this connection with them. And so that's that. And the first 3 months, the first month was the worst. The second, but for me, it was not like the babies. It was not the babies the problem. They were always great. It was just my physical recovery was really, really hard. I couldn't believe it because you guys, before this pregnancy, I was just really, really in great shape. I was really, forget about being skinny. I was fine, but we went hiking with the boys. We always went to the beach parks, and we just always on the move. Like Saturday, Sunday, we go out, but it had to slow down, and it was huge tummy, and it was heavy, and work exhausted me, and then afterwards I was expecting to get back to normal really fast, right? And then that doctor tells me, it's gonna be a cesarean. I'm sorry, And then my little girl didn't help that either. I think if she had her head down, I would probably go for normal natural birth, but it happened. Whatever happened. So recovery from it, and not even the incision, that was okay. It was recovering fine, but it did have some red spots with some gooey yellowish stuff coming out. Eventually, if it maybe from the inner, I don't know, the outside was okay, but maybe the inner, I don't know. I had this unusual pain that I didn't know how to explain, but it was really dull feeling, like there's no sensitivity. Like I touch the skin and I don't feel anything. It was really weird. So I was like, maybe he just got some nerves there. I don't know what he did, but I'm just so not in a good place with that doctor. But he tried his best. Babies are fine. So I just didn't like the recovery. For me, it was really hard, and I feel like it slowed me down, and I was not feeling myself. This body, I couldn't control it anymore, and just, there is not much I can control here. Nothing really is in my control here. My other boys are growing up, so they have their own opinion. They have their own friends, and just those little guys here. They were like mommy's besties because we spend the whole time together here. And little by little, I push myself hard to try to recover from this back pain, and I still have it. The backbone and the muscles and the nerves, everything is messed up, but much better than before, that's for sure. At 10 months almost, I can tell it's much better now. I use this cream my husband got me that they have like sticky pad version of it. You put on the sore muscle after exercising extensively or something. And there's this grandma following me for a while, so I was like, maybe she's going to her field. But so they have like it helps you take the tension from the muscle, or I don't know what it warms up the place, that's for sure. It's really weird. At first it's like this cold feeling, and then it just warms up the place. So there's a lotion like that. So I apply it after a shower and at night to my back as much as I can reach. But it does warm me up, and it feels good, and I should be doing it probably more than once a day, but that helps too. And bathing them, that's a challenge in Japan, because here bathtubs are not like in the States or in Europe, like a shallow long thing. It's deep, and it's down, and it's short, so you cannot really stretch your legs, and it's a daily thing, so that's fine with me. I like my babies clean anyways. But the thing is, I have it hard. Like the first month or maybe the first 2 months, I don't remember anymore that, but they were bathed on the kitchen table in a baby bath that we got, and one by one. So sometimes we would have explosions inside of the bathtub, so we have to change the water, and that was fine. But in the big tub, one by one, I had to have help from my boys, because in the evenings we're just me and the kids, because my husband works till really late. His job is like educator, English teacher. It's all like after school. It has to be after school. So all kids come after school, and high schoolers come until from 9 to 10. So that's totally fine. In Japan, that's totally fine. If my kid is out somewhere from 9 to 10 and some like with friends, I don't know, my aunt. But they bring them with the cars, and they take them back, and some use bikes, I don't know. But it was hard, so I had to ask my oldest. I think it was the first 2 weeks for me to adjust. I had to have him there. He was in the bathtub waiting for me to wash up the baby, and he gets the baby and just keeps the baby in the warm water for a little bit, and then I take the baby and dress it up and in the kitchen with the other boys and get the other one and like that. So he was, poor guy, he was exhausted because he was nervous, and he was staying in the bathtub for a while, and it's hot water, you know, it just feels like you're in like a spa or something. But he helped me, and then I could see he couldn't say no, but like he was getting exhausted. So I was like, that's it, I'll do it by myself, don't worry. So I started doing one by one. Recently, because they're more stable, they can sit, they can stand up. Maybe like for a month or two now, I've been baiting them sometimes together, which is real fun. And when I do that, they enjoy it a lot. There is this cover you put on the bath while you're soaping their body and washing them up. So they like to bang with their hands on it because they can stand up and they can bang on it, and they keep saying ta 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 ta. It's like a rhythm. So we like to joke with that rhythm with the boys, and we sing the we will rock you. So they'll love that. Anyway, so I put their towels, I wrap them up afterwards in front of a little heater in a little room where the washer is next to the bathroom, and then they stay there until I put my bathrobe, and then we go to the kitchen where I can dress them up. And that is becoming really difficult now because they just start running all over the place with their bums out. I'm like, you have to have a diaper on. So in the winter will be harder though, because I don't think I do in the winter. Here there is no central heating. It's just from room to room in the hallways is really, really, really cold. It's freezing. I don't want to think about it, but winters are hard here for me. I don't like winter. I come from a place where negative 15 Celsius is just fine, and it hurts your nose to breathe outside and breathe. And it's not like Russia or Siberia, like, or Canada up north, but still we had hard winters. And back home I didn't grow up with central heating either. So, but that doesn't mean I really enjoy that kind of life. So it's really hard. And here people buy a lot of those air cleaners / humidifier. Some of them even they can blow hot air, but that becomes really expensive machine. So I just get the one that cleans the air from germs. Supposedly, I don't know how it works. When I clean it up, doesn't have much inside, but I don't know, magnets, and I don't know. I'm really not good with science, but I hope it helps because we don't do full shots and things like that. I used to, but they still got the flu, so I'm like, whatever. But that cleans the air, humidifies, because in the winter it's super dry here. Like your skin becomes it splits to blood. It's just really dry. Like Utah, I've been to Utah, so it's like that. I remember in the bathrooms in Utah, they had the soap and the lotion next to it. So I was like, oh, that makes sense now. But here's like that too. But in the summer, it's like Florida. It's just like you're breathing water. You feel like, yeah, you're breathing water. So without the AC to cool you down and to dry out the air in the room, you just can't survive. It's just, if you're thinking you can survive on fans blowing that hot air towards it, it's not gonna work. It just makes you sick. So from heat to dry winter is, two very different weathers. But I like the fall the most here, because spring for me is really still cold. I like the fall. It's like this time is the best. It's just really the best. In November, the trees start changing their colors, and it just becomes really beautiful, and we go for acorns in the parks with the lakes, and it's just really, really great. But with those two, let's see, in the summer, there's this beach park we go to, not too far. I went with the boys and those two a few times, and sometimes their daddy came too, just to watch if I take one of the babies and he watches the other, so I rotate them. They quite enjoyed at first they were really scared from the moving water and the breeze, but the sand they didn't want to. And that beach has the sand in the ocean, but also has very, very big field with grass that probably they take care of because it's really nicely mowed. And the first time you've seen those videos of babies when you try to put the baby to sit on the grass and how they lift their legs up. Yeah, I do the same thing, and it's true. They do that. They lift their legs up and they don't want to sit. Like my baby girl, she was almost crying. She was like, don't make me touch that thing, mommy, please. But eventually they learned. He was fine. He just stretched his legs really hard. He wouldn't want to bend, so I couldn't really make them sit the first time we went. I couldn't make them sit, and I made them sit on a mat, and they were touching it around, so they got used to the touch of the feel of the grass. And then after that, the ocean, and we had the thing that you put them, the floating, how do you call that in English? I don't know. The floating thing that it's like a diaper. You put the legs inside and the baby floats in it. It's just a really cute thing. They have those here in all kinds of varieties and superheroes and animated blah. But I got one, so they shared one by one. That was really fun. They enjoyed they started even tanning. They became darker because I put lots of sunscreen on them because they're babies. We don't bother, but the other boys turned chocolate too, but they also go to swimming pool at school, so they were definitely chocolate. And those two turned really, really cute chocolates too, but not as dark. So I try to expose them to different environment, not just the living room and slash kitchen we live in every day. But it's hard. I don't really take them much to the mall because of the coronavirus, and I don't really know how other moms out there with twins deal with this circumstance to not be able to take your babies to shopping or mall or just hanging somewhere. I cannot do that. I cannot be trapped at home all day, so I just go for long walks with them and they sleep and I listen to something on the phone or just enjoy the nature around me and listen to music, stuff like that. It's fun. It's real fun. I have to mention also, you guys, that while I was in the hospital with them for a week, the food is just amazing here. If nothing else, just I would give them that. The food is really good and healthy. I have to say the school lunches is not enough. Maybe not for my boys, and it wasn't for me either, but like it's good. They calculate whatever. The food in the hospitals is also very good. They have the basics. They have the soup and the rice and some kind of meat and vegetables and some kind of dessert, which is a slice of an apple or like fruit or whatever pudding they have. But it was really nice and balanced. And in this new hospital I was in with the twins, there was a lady every day coming with this iPad, I think, and she would stick that thing in my face and she would ask me which meal I prefer, the Western or the Japanese. So I always chose the Japanese version of it because I don't like cooked onions. That's my biggest secret, you guys. It's not a secret, I hate cooked onions. I can eat onions only when they're raw, and it's just so yummy for me. Like we Bulgarians like raw everything. We like garlic raw, we like onions raw in salads, and so just that's how I eat it. Cooked onions, my mom knows that I don't like it. Big chunks of cooked onions seeing in the curry here, and it's just like no, I can't do it. I prefer not to eat. I skip the meal or just give it away or whatever. So the Western food that they cook here at Love, of course, it's loaded. I mean, it's loaded. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just eat that noodle with whatever fish cake there is inside instead. So, and the chicken with the skin, but like the skin is so thick and so like yucky. I don't like chicken skin either. So I like my beef. Beef is the best. But yeah, cannot be vegetarian. That's a different topic. But yeah, the meals are outstanding. And then the last meal, the last supper you have in the hospital is just grandeur. It's like this very special box that they have like the meal is like set in a very beautiful plates and with covers and there are flowers and it's just so beautiful. And you're like, look at it, I'm like, can I eat it? That's so pretty. Like how the fruits are cut is just so pretty. Everything is so just gorgeous, and small plates and a little bite from everything is just really beautiful. So I always take a picture. I have in my blog pictures of all the meals I took so that I can remember from this pregnancy and from others in the other hospital. It's really great. But yeah, this is for today, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the weather and nature as much as you can, because nature seriously makes you feel sane and recharges you in a way no other place can. I feel like I'm blessed with this around me. It's just nature. And you know, young people go to big cities. I'm not a big city girl and never was. Didn't grow up in big city either back home, so my town was small and walking distance things, so I like it. Here is different setting. Here there is no city center like in Europe. But yeah, you need a car to go to the supermarket or to go anywhere, really. You need a car. But what they do have is convenience stores, and those have pretty much all the basics you need, everything, all the time, 24/7. They don't stop working ever. So, and they're in every corner pretty much, so that's that. It's helpful. But yeah, I can share with you next time where I go shopping, what do I usually shop for, about babies and about food in general. And all right, there is going down a slope and I'm out.